Ever heard the phrase, from rags to riches? Well, these companies took that literally, starting with almost nothing, only to become billion-dollar giants that rule the world today. And their beginnings? Some of them are so humble, or downright weird, you wouldn't believe it. Let's take a journey through the origins of 10 super-rich companies that started from the bottom and climbed all the way to the top. Let's kick things off with Apple. Today, it's a tech titan worth over $3 trillion. But back in 1976, it was just a passion project started in a small garage in Los Altos, California. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak built computers by hand, selling their first 50 units to a local retailer. They had no office, no team, and almost no money. They even had to sell their personal belongings. Jobs sold his VW van, and Wozniak sold his calculator, just to fund the project. And Ronald Wayne, the third co-founder? He sold his 10% share for just $800. That same share today would be worth over $200 billion. That's one of the most painful missed opportunities in business history. Next up, Amazon. When Jeff Bezos quit his cushy job on Wall Street in 1994, people thought he was crazy. But he had one idea: build an online bookstore. With stacks of books and boxes in his garage, he and his wife started packing orders themselves. The company's first office was so low budget, Bezos famously turned a door into a desk. Fast forward a few years, and Amazon wasn't just selling books, it was selling everything. It grew quietly, and then all at once, becoming one of the most powerful companies on the planet. Number 3. Disney. Walt Disney faced failure after failure before creating the magic we all know today. At one point, he was told a cartoon mouse would never be popular, but he trusted his gut. In 1928, Mickey Mouse debuted in a short film called Steamboat Willie, and it changed animation history forever. But even then, things weren't smooth. Walt had to mortgage his home and constantly fight off competitors stealing his work. Yet, with sheer determination and creativity, Disney built an empire, from hand-drawn sketches to world-class theme parks and billion-dollar franchises. Then there's Google, the place you probably found this video from. But in 1996, Larry Page and Sergey Brin were just two Stanford students building a search engine called Backrub. Yes, Backrub. It analyzed links to determine the importance of web pages, which was revolutionary back then. They used borrowed equipment, crammed servers into closets, and even tried to sell the algorithm, but nobody wanted to buy it. So, they kept going. Eventually, the name changed to Google, and now, it handles over 8 billion searches a day. Let's talk about Starbucks. Did you know it didn't sell coffee drinks at first? In 1971, it was just a store in Seattle selling roasted coffee beans and equipment. No lattes, no frappes, no baristas yelling your name. That didn't happen until Howard Schultz joined and pitched the idea of turning it into an Italian-style coffeehouse. At first, even the founders hated the idea, but Schultz pushed forward, opened the first Starbucks cafe, and started a coffee revolution that now spans over 80 countries. At number 6, Nike. The name alone screams success, but its roots are pretty gritty. Phil Knight and his coach Bill Bauman started selling running shoes out of the back of a car at track meets. They didn't even have their own brand at first, they were selling Japanese Onitsuka Tigers. Bauman's breakthrough? He used a waffle iron to make a lighter, grippier shoe sole. It was an accident, and a game changer. That's how the Nike Waffle Trainer was born, launching them into sneaker history. Lamborghini is next, and this one's unexpected. Before making luxury sports cars, Ferruccio Lamborghini made tractors. Yep, he was an expert in mechanical engineering and built agricultural vehicles after World War II. But it wasn't until he had issues with his Ferrari, and Enzo Ferrari insulted him, that he decided to start his own car company. Talk about turning a grudge into greatness. Today, the Raging Bull is a global symbol of speed and status. Then there's WhatsApp, co-founded by Jon Koum, a Ukrainian immigrant who grew up poor and relied on food stamps in the U.S. He was rejected by Facebook for a job. Years later, he built WhatsApp, a simple, secure messaging app, and Facebook ended up buying it from him for $19 billion. The same company that rejected him paid him billions. That's the sweetest revenge. Airbnb is another startup with humble beginnings. In 2007, its founders couldn't afford rent, so they rented out air mattresses in their living room to strangers. They built a simple website and started getting bookings. Most investors laughed at them. Who would want to sleep in a stranger's house, they said. Today, Airbnb is in over 220 countries and worth billions, and the hotel industry is still catching up. And finally, we have Spotify. It started in Sweden when music piracy was at its peak. Daniel Ek and Martin Lawrenson wanted to offer a legal, better experience. Their idea? Free streaming with ads, or ad-free with a subscription. The music industry hated it at first, but listeners loved it. Spotify didn't just change how we listen to music, it saved the entire industry from piracy. So what can we learn from all this? Great companies don't always begin with big offices, massive funding, or perfect plans. Sometimes, all it takes is a garage, a crazy idea, a bit of hustle, and a whole lot of heart. These 10 giants prove that no matter where you start, if you believe enough, build smart, and never give up, the world might just listen.